Hi friends, good morning. This is Kumar, and today I wish to speak to you something about books. Whenever we say books, we assume study books. Study books are there with us right from childhood till the time we pass exams. There are books on engineering and medical, pharmaceutical, law, 10th, 12th standard, BA, MA, and so on. Okay, that's a necessary fact of life. I'm not speaking about that today. Next, we come to self-help books or motivational books, where people, they say how to gain weight, how to lose weight, how to control your anger, how to start winning friends, how to start living, and so on, so on. These are motivational books. Again, I'm not speaking about these books. These books are meant to be studied, these two categories. Now, I will come to one important category, that is those books which will ensure you will never be lonely or you will never be depressed. Those are called storybooks. Now, when I say storybooks, I will talk about books which will educate you, which will inspire you, and they will entertain you. Remember what I said? These books will change the way you think, and make it humorous also. Make the life worth living. They have been my friend for so many years, and so I want to share some good books with you. So let us start. Let's start at the very beginning. A very nice place to start. Childhood, full of sweet memories. Who does not cherish childhood? A carefree childhood. So here we start with one author called Enid Blyton, who wrote a lot of books, maybe 500 books he has written, mostly centered in England. And one particular book, what caught my attention was Six Cousins in Mistletoe Farm. This book, Six Cousins in Mistletoe Farm, talks about three cousins in a rural village farm and three of their cousins who have been compulsorily transplanted onto the farm because they lost their city home. So the entire book is about adjustment, adaptability, and finally at the end of the story we come to see how these city cousins who had some attitude, they had hoity-toity, snobbish types, they look up to their country cousins and learn common sense and how to live a farmer's life. And the country cousins who were kind of rough and did not know the finer things in life, well, they develop a bonding with these people, and it's all one big happy family, including the farmer and his wife, who take patiently of all the children as if they were their own. Not just the three, their children, the six. So Six Cousins in Mistletoe. After childhood, we come to another very important book by a very important author, that's called R.K. Narayan, brother of R.K. Lakshman. His book, Swami and Friends. Please read it. Swami and Friends or Malgudi Days. This is about quintessential India, a small town in South India, the trials and tribulations of a boy trying to make his way through life along with his school friends. Swami and Friend. It's humorous also. And it inspires you also. That basically never say die attitude. After that, we come to suspense. Who does not like suspense movies, thriller movies, murder movies, etc.? So this is a book called Pocketful of Rye by Agatha Christie. It is set maybe 80 years back in rural England, in a country home where there is a murder, in fact a series of murder, and who do you think solves it? Not some muscle-bound detective. Not some sharp, young, intelligent chess player. This is a spinster, an old lady, a frail lady who goes by the name Miss Marple. And you will see how deftly, how craftily she makes everyone underestimate her. She creates a series of questions, solves a series of puzzle, and finally gets the murderer. All in the course of one book. So this is inspiring in the sense how human intelligence is not linked to age or looks or physical appearance or strength. It is just one lady outwitting everyone. Miss Marple's A Pocketful of Rye. We go to a real suspense thriller, an action-bound thriller, Day of the Jackal by Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth wrote this book, again 40 years back. This is a plot to assassinate the French president, and it keeps you glued till the end. It starts with a suspense. The suspense continues, the action build-up continues, and well, you will have to read the book to understand how well it ends. Day of the Jackal by Frederick Forsyth. After that, we come to one more suspense thriller by a very prolific author, Alistair MacLean. His two books were made into real success movies, that is Guns of Navarone and Force of Navarone, Force 10 from Navarone. This book is The Last Frontier. It talks about communist Hungary. A British spy gets transported into Hungary with the aim to rescue a British scientist who has been kept against his will. The entire book goes through the trials and tribulations of this guy, the enormous physical effort he takes, and about a very remarkable character called Jhansi, who is an underground resistance fighter come general. He has been living secretly. You will fall in love or admiration with that Jhansi and his family, the sacrifices they take, the sheer philosophy in that book, written in a very suspense crime thriller style. Till the end, there is a semi-tragic end, of course, but it ends on a victorious note. Please read The Last Frontier. After suspense thrillers, let us go to a kind of, let's say, not a documentary, but a very descriptive book. See, all of you guys fly and stay in hotels. Not now, but you will keep doing it. So ever wondered how these huge establishments work, how an airport works, how a hotel works? So please read by an author called Arthur Ailey, The Hotel or the Airport. Honestly, when I read The Airport, this is the first time I came to know that there's so much which goes behind, the kind of personalities involved, the clashes, the kind of challenges, and there's a post called Air Traffic Controller, ATC. These ATC's job is more dangerous or equally dangerous and as tense as a bomb disposal squad. Read it and enjoy the book. The Airport or the Hotel by Arthur Ailey. Now we are Indians. It is important to read something about India, and what better book than Freedom at Midnight, written by Larry Collins and Dominic Lavery. Freedom at Midnight is talking about August 15, 1947, the events which led to independence approximately 1 year before that and approximately 1 year after that. It talks about the political personalities at that time. It talks about the struggles of peasants, and there's a very interesting chapter called the Maharajas. All of you know that the Maharajas used to rule India in different states. There were big Maharajas, small Maharajas. Some of them are still there, though they are legally not Maharajas. They have now turned hoteliers or businessmen or members of parliament, so on, so on. But this chapter, the Maharajas, tells about how some people were so broad-minded and worked for education, and there were others who just squandered the money of poor Indians. It is a very colorful book also, and written in a unique perspective. It gives in detail the sacrifices our leaders took at that time, the decisions which shaped partition, and some of the problems which we face today can be traced back to that time. Freedom at Midnight. After this historical book, let us now go to a thriller, an American thriller. This is by an author called John Grisham, which talks about a legal firm, The Firm. Here, a young lawyer just out of college joins a big law firm and suddenly discovers he's successful, he is having high pay packet, but this big legal firm is doing everything which is sort of linked to the underworld and into criminal activity. So how he wins over them, risking his life at every turn. It's a beautiful thriller, and anyone wishing for a career in law should read books by John Grisham. The Firm. After the serious book, let us come to something humorous. All of us are animal lovers in one form or other, cats, dogs, elephants, or whatever. This book, written by a British veterinary doctor, James Herriot, writes, All Things Bright and Beautiful. All Things Bright and Beautiful deals with the challenges of rural farmers which they have and his practice there, how he struggles to keep up a practice in rural England, in Yorkshire. It gives a beautiful scenic countryside and the attitudes of the farmers and how he wins over the patients also, that is the animals. He makes life better for them. After this humorous but thought-provoking book, I want you to come to something very light, something very festive, but carrying a hidden message. That is a book called Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens wrote some very hard-hitting books like Great Expectations, Oliver Twist, which are in a serious mode. You must read that some other time, but let's talk about A Christmas Carol. You have heard this phrase, kanjus, makhichus, etc. So here, the main character, Uncle Scrooge, is a miser. And he is visited on the eve of Christmas by 3 of his partners who are ghosts. And they take him on a journey around town, including a journey to his home, to his assistant's home, whom he keeps torturing and sort of doesn't allow him to live in a peaceful manner. He sees how blessed he is to have assistants like this who still think good of him. And he realizes his mistakes. The book ends on a very happy note. Scrooge gives up his old miserly ways and turns into a generous patron of society and supports his assistant also. It's a festive note. the Christmas Carol. He lives in a Christian manner, you can say, in a festive manner, Christmas Carol. And finally, let us not underestimate the power of comic books. Comics have been a part of my childhood. From that, I will select something like Tintin. You have heard of Tintin, the movie. Please do read the book, comic book, Tintin in America, which talks about Tintin as a reporter visiting Chicago during the days of underworld, Al Capone and the present day mafia, how he outfits them steadily. There's one fascinating chapter in that book where you see the US Army suddenly discovers oil by mistake, and in a jiffy they sort of tell the Red Indians to move. So it talks about modern development in a sarcastic manner and present day American attitude in a humorous manner by a European reporter called Tintin. Tintin in America. All these books, they will not only educate or inspire you, they will entertain you. I promise you, please do read these storybooks, which I said, go over the video. This is Kumar. And once again I say, इन सब बुक्स का फायदा क्या है? यकीन मानिए, यह आपकी मानसिक क्षितिज को बढ़ाएगी. These books will broaden your mental horizons. So start living, start leading. You will never feel lonely. You will always have a constant friend and companion in life. Bye. God bless. Good cheer.